Infrastructure doesn't negotiate with narratives. You can reframe it, defend it, or debate it for hours. But when the lights go off, reality takes over. The heat rises, the silence stretches, and suddenly all the explanations feel empty. In that moment, ideology disappears, and what remains is something deeply personal: discomfort, frustration, and a quiet question sitting in the dark with you. How did we get here again? Because if we are honest, my people, this didn't start today. That's the part we don't say enough. We talk about outages like they are sudden, like they are technical surprises, like they are isolated incidents. But this is a pattern, a cycle, something we have lived through before, something we have seen unfold in different forms. Yet somehow every time it returns, we respond like it's new. And maybe that's a deeper issue, not just the power supply, but our memory. We forget too quickly, you see, or maybe we move on too conveniently. Take the PDS deal. It was presented as a solution we had been waiting for. Efficiency, reform, professionalism, everything the system needed. It carried the weight of expectation, the promise of change, and then boom, it collapsed. Questions surfaced, doubts grew. The story became messy, uncomfortable, difficult to explain, and then almost quietly it faded. No real closure, no deep accountability, just a shift in attention, as if moving on was easier than confronting what went wrong. But even before that, there was a period that defined how many of us relate to electricity. Remember the years of DUMSOR. And if you lived through it, you know it wasn't just about lights going off. It was exhausting. It affected how you slept, how you worked, how you planned your life. It was your food spoiling, your business slowing down, your mind constantly adjusting to uncertainty. It wasn't abstract. It was personal. And that's something leadership understood very clearly. Electricity is emotional governance. It reaches into the most private parts of people's lives. So when the system stabilized, even slightly, we felt relief. The light stayed on longer. The panic reduced. And in that relief, something subtle happened. We started to confuse stability with success. We told ourselves, the problem had been solved, when in reality, it had only been managed. My people, because beneath that stability, the cracks were still there. Debt was still growing. Inefficiencies were still present. The structure itself hadn't been fundamentally rebuilt. It was holding, yes, but it was still fragile. Then came another attempt at reform, another promise of transformation, and again, it exposed more than it fixed. And still, the deeper questions remained unanswered. Now we find ourselves in a familiar place. The outages are not as prolonged, not as dramatic, but they are there. Enough to make people uneasy, enough to bring back that quiet habit of checking if the rechargeable lamp is charged before going to bed. Enough to remind us of something we thought we had left behind. But what has changed this time is the language. No, we no longer call it DUMSOR. Now it is maintenance, or technical faults, or temporary disruptions. Softer words, safer words. But for the person sitting in the dark, the name doesn't change the experience. Darkness feels the same, no matter what you call it. And maybe that's why people have responded with subtle irony, finding their own way to describe it. Because deep down, we recognize the pattern. And this is where the conversation becomes uncomfortable, my people. Because it stops being about one government or another. It stops being about who caused what. The truth is, this story has passed through different hands, different administrations, different promises. And now it belongs to them. It belongs to all of them. Which means the usual arguments don't hold the same weight anymore. The issue is no longer just political. It is structural. You see, an infrastructure does not respond to narratives. It does not care about how well something is explained. When it fails in a way that is immediate and undeniable. The room gets hot, the fan stops, the noise disappears, and in that moment, you are left alone with reality. So maybe the real question isn't just about electricity. Maybe it's about something deeper: how we govern, how we respond, how we hold systems accountable, not just in Ghana, but across Africa as a whole. Why do we normalize failure so quickly, yet demand excellence so slowly? Why do major scandals pass without the kind of closure that builds the trust? Are we building systems that are truly strong? Or Are we becoming experts at explaining weak ones? And at what point do we stop adjusting to dysfunction and start insisting on something better? Because, government is not just about policies and announcements. It is about outcomes that people can feel. It is about systems that work even when no one is watching. And right now, if we are honest, too much of what we experience feels like management, not transformation. We have spent years debating who caused the problem, who handled it better, who should take the blame. But far less time has been spent asking how to build something that doesn't keep breaking in the same way. And until that shift happens, the cycle will continue. And people, electricity has a way of forcing honesty. It strips away the arguments and leaves you with the truth of what is working and what is not. And right now, the truth is uncomfortable. Not because we don't understand the problem, but because we have not fully committed to solving it. So the lights may come on again and things may stabilize for a while. But the deeper question will still be there waiting. Are we fixing the system? Or are we just learning how to live with its failures? Because until we answer that, not politically, not emotionally, but honestly, the flickering won't stop. Not just in our homes, but in the very systems we depend on. This is David 360. Thank you for sticking and staying. We'll see you in our next video. DUMSOR infrastructure doesn't negotiate with narratives. You can reframe it or debate it for hours, but when the lights goes off, reality takes over. Have a good day.